Hey, it's Mariah May. You may know me as The Glamour, and you're watching Unpopular Review.
What's up, everyone? It is myself, Evil Dose, Jeff Lippman, your host tonight for Unpopular Review's Raw Review Show. I'm expecting my co-host that's been with me for the last 2 weeks, Vinny La Spada, to be here any moment, the King of Spades and himself, La Spada. But he's not here yet, so we're gonna run it a little bit on our own, and I think that we're gonna do just fine.
Bitch, shut up before I kick you in the face again. Nobody gives a damn about that karate shit.
What? That's not nice. Huh. Well, somebody doesn't like them doing a solo show, and that person is me. But we shall go. We're going to be on time, and we're going to try to keep this brief. So Raw emanates from Rosemont, Illinois, which is outside Chicago. So those people who are very sensitive about that, and I know who you are, and you just might be watching, it is outside Chicago. It is not in Chicago itself. The Allstate Arena, where we are told multiple times that there's 15,810 people in attendance, and it's a sellout, something like the 13,000th sellout in a row, something like that. I might have the numbers off by a little bit. We also see CM Punk arrived. He arrived at 12:21 Central Time, which would be 1:21 Eastern Time, but of course they're in Central Time. So he's bright and early for the show, close to 8 hours before start time. Very professional, unlike those bucks who show up in the middle of a Dynamite and start causing havoc. Anyway, enough about that. We get a Cody Roman recap from SmackDown, which, of course, was talked about on the SmackDown review show, probably resuscitated a little bit during the Mike Knox show this evening at 6. But in case you didn't see those, check both those shows out. By the way, the SmackDown review show is every Saturday, typically around noon. But if you hit subscribe and hit the notifications bell, you'll always know when we're going live. The Mike Knox show is every Monday night at 6 p.m. So hopefully you're not all wrestle talked out and you got recharged by this Raw. It was actually a pretty surprisingly good Raw. I wasn't expecting much, but it delivered, especially in the end. So the show opens with Cody in the ring, which normally is not something I'm too excited about. This was good. I like the hot starts when there's a match or there's fighting or something like that. Some promos outside. Sort of like the way Collision used to be when Punk did it. Sort of like how Saturday Night's Main Event used to be. But we get the Cody promo. He's dressed to the nines. He's matching very obviously. He's custom made, custom suit. Got the whole thing matched by a stylist, or he's got his own stylist, or he's got his own style. Whatever it was, he says that the time for talk is over, and that he keeps all of his promises, and Chicago knows that. You know what, folks? I think that was a reference to All In, how he kept his promise about selling out a 20,000 seat arena in Chicago some years ago. But of course, the double entendre is that he's going to finish his story. He lists all of his good deeds, or a lot of his good deeds, how he's going to be the best man for someone named Anthony's wedding. Does he know him? Nope. Is he going to pay for the bachelor party? Yep. Why? Because he said he would. There is a 5-year-old boy whose birthday party he's going to. Why? Because he said he'd do it. And he's got to explain that to his wife and his family. But that's what he's doing. Why is he doing all these good things? Why is the Boys and Girls Wrestling Club of a particular city going to Wrestlemania both nights 1 and 2 on his dime? Because he's walking around and acting like a champion because the champion isn't here. Well, part-time Roman. I mean, come on, that's his contract, but we get it. Storyline. Part-time champions always elicits a boo. And Roman, every time, Cody said Roman Reigns, the crowd booed, and he was playing with that a little bit. And Cody's like, hey, listen, I can't do this alone. I want you to ride with me. And he does a invocation for the crowd to point to the WrestleMania sign with him. But while he does it, he does like a too sweet gesture. Then he goes into the, the guns up, kind of position, almost like the Kenny Omega Bang Bang, sort of homage to the Bullet Club, which he did during SmackDown, where he talked about that he had his Bullet cufflinks on and he knows about factions and other places. And then he points to the WrestleMania sign. And as the crowd is joining him in that, we hear the electrifying intro music of Thor. No, The Rock. Hollywood Rock comes in unexpected. And because of the setup of the arena and because of the demand for tickets, there was a smaller set. And so the entranceway was in a different vantage point. So the Rock, he's strode up there. It was a slow strut. He was taking his time, making every step ponderous and looking huge, and in his Versace vest. By the way, Pat McAfee wearing a Versace shirt. I don't know if that's a foreshadowing or what, but everyone's looking to their nines. Rock comes in. He doesn't say a word. He's just staring. I mean, he goes to the three corners, puts his fist up, for the crowd to cheer for him. And he's just staring at Cody. He's got sunglasses on, I guess the new style Ray-Bans with the gold, the tortoiseshell and the gold rimming at the bottom. And he's just staring at Cody, and Cody's not exactly sure what to do. He looks to the crowd, but then he just meets Rock's stare, and he realizes he's an old-fashioned stare down. This goes on for a long time, and there is silence, and the tension is palpable. And they said a lot without saying anything. This was strangely effective. I didn't want it to be. I wanted to rant about Jesus not saying anything. This is terrible. But no, this was actually pretty good. By the way, to the 25 or 26 people who are watching right now, thank you. I appreciate that. Keep up. Now it's 26. Yeah, we got one like. If you guys could continue to hit likes and and share the love and tell your friends to pick this up. Maybe solo is the way I should go from now on. I don't know. Nah, this UPR is a team sport. Anyway, so The Rock. After a long period of staring, The Rock leans into Cody, and I'm sure everybody and their mother wishes they had someone who could read lips in the house with them. I sure wish I did, because he whispered something, but not directly into his ear. You could see his lips moving, but I'm not exactly sure what he said. I'm not even sure he spoke English. He might have just, mouthed something gibberish wise. And that was it. Then he backs away and he leaves the ring and to a chorus of boos. And that was that segment. We then see a reminder of Jade Cargill. She's going to SmackDown. So we see sort of a short of that promotional vignette that was aired on SmackDown. She looks like $1 million. And then we see Jackie Redmond in the back, and she's trying to catch up to The Rock, and she does. He walks basically right into her gorilla, and she says, Rock, hey, can you comment on what you whispered to Cody? And The Rock just looks at her and says, you know what? You talk to Cody about that. So that's it. And he walks away, and we think that we're done with The Rock for the night. Spoiler, we're not. So next we go to the Judgment Day clubhouse. And in that clubhouse, we see Mommy talking to Dom, and sort of the tail end of conversation where basically she's like, hey, listen, I appreciate what you did with Ray on SmackDown. It's okay with me, but in the future, let me know what your plans are. I would have backed you up, but I appreciate it. And Dom's like, yeah, you're right, Mommy. We'll talk better in the future. Damian Priest is like, all right, everyone, cool, settle down. Let's talk about business tonight. So JD, meaning JD McDonough, not Judgment Day, we need you to beat Ricochet tonight. And everyone's like, hey, we're tired of Ricochet making us look like a fool, and especially you and Dom constantly getting beat up by Ricochet. And JD's like, don't worry, I've got a plan. And Finn's going crazy, and he's going a little upset. And, Dom is calming him down. And Priest is like, listen, don't worry, I got a plan about everything tonight, so everyone follow my lead. And so they're all pleased he's got a plan. Last time he had plans, it was before, I believe, the Survivor Series. That didn't exactly work out so well. But anyway, Priest has a plan, and Mommy says that just win, please. Come on, JD, just win. So that takes us to the match, which is JD McDonough facing Ricochet. Ricochet, who until recently hasn't been on TV very much. People wondering where he is he buried, this, that, and the other thing. But Ricochet was 2-0 against the Judgment Day recently, even though he didn't advance in the Survivor Series. And look out, we have a banger alert here. So we do get a recap of Dom attacking Ray during SmackDown to remind us that that's going on again. During the match, very athletic match, 50-50, but actually not 50-50. I would say 60-40, mostly on Ricochet's side. But of course, Dom is interfering, making a nuisance of himself. He, puts JD McDonough's leg over the bottom rope to break up a pinfall. The ref is sort of suspicious, but didn't see it and gives him words. And then later on, Dom gets more physically involved. When Ricochet is going to do a shooting star press, Dom sort of shakes the ropes, and Ricochet, falls down, but on the top turnbuckle. He doesn't fall all the way to the ground. He doesn't do that, nut spot that they always do on the ropes. The ref this time does eject Dominic, and while he's complaining, JD McDonough thinks he's going to get the best of Ricochet, but Ricochet actually gets the best of him and does. I've not seen this before, but he does a shooting star press while JD McDonough is still standing, and they time it such that the Ricochet hits JD in the chest. Obviously, JD helps him with this, and that turns into a pinfall. Usually, the person is prone on the mat. This was actually pretty impressive, and while I'm not that big into JD, I don't think he's got much of a personality. His look is weird. It's sort of like a mix of Finn Balor or Chris Benoit minus 8 years of steroids. But I cannot deny he's always in the right place and his timing is impeccable. So I guess he's what you would call a good hand. But for those people who think there's not enough wrestling on Raw, the wrestling matches are not long enough. This was a long match through 2 commercial breaks, maybe 3. It was a good match, good solid match. Ricochet wins 3-0 against the Judgment Day, and that's part of the story here is that Ricochet is 3-0 against the Judgment Day. He has their number. They just can't beat him. Hey, we've got a comment. We got Terrell Thibodeau. What's up? Ooh, I gave away your secret last name. Sorry, Terrell. I totally don't know your last name, but what's up, Terrell? Thanks for coming in, supporting us. Hopefully, you'll like and subscribe to Unpopular Review. And always nice to see a friendly face and a friendly name there in the comments. I'm doing well. Still no Vinny. He's probably finished up a delicious La Spada subs in the greater Orlando area. I've gotten from insiders and verified outsiders. Their subs are exceptional. So if you're in Orlando, we're not sponsored. Me being sponsored wouldn't do me any good, but I actually have a relative in Orlando, and they praise Las Spadas. They verify that Las Spadas, they co-sign it, that it's fantastic. Why am I talking about this so much? Who cares? He's not here, that big jerk. All right. So we get then some indication that CM Punk is going to come in. He's holding a Chicago Cubs title belt, one of those branded WWE championship belts for the Cubs. So he's got that. R-Truth later on we see with the White Sox branded belt as well. So a little product placement going on here along with the hometown city, all of that good stuff. And then we see Jey Uso, and he's clapping and he's happy. And I don't know what he's wearing. It looks like he's wearing like a turtleneck sweater or something. He's wearing real sunglasses, not his Yeet sunglasses. And he's just walking and clapping in the hall by himself, sort of. I don't know. This was a little bit weird, but, Jay gonna Jay, I guess. All right. So we get CM Punk to the ring. Just what you think. Cult of Personality comes on, crowd goes crazy, a lot of posing and being happy with the crowd, and fist bumps and jumping around on commentary and making his way into the ring. So all that's happy. And Punk is like, hey, the question everybody's asking, the answer is yes. I will be at WrestleMania. But basically his promo was like, I'm not really sure in what capacity. So let's talk about it, basically. He's like, do you think maybe I should be the host of WrestleMania? 10 years ago, I would have thought that's beneath me. But now I realize what a big deal it is just to be at WrestleMania. It's like, do you think I should be a guest referee? I'm not sure that I can be impartial. Well, actually, the first point, he says, if you want the most impartial referee, pick me. He says the opposite a little bit later on. Then he says, people talk to me and they talk about me. Oh, we got a La Spada. We're going to do a little break in the show and bring him on in. Vinny, what's up?
You guys are the worst about fucking giving the links.
I can't give you the link because I don't. You and I are not friends on Facebook, so I can't.
You guys, you guys are killing me. I've been waiting. I've been waiting since 11 o'clock for the link, and I've gotten nothing, and nobody pays attention. Nobody
Well, I
pays
did.
attention.
Well, it's good to air this on the air. Like in
Yeah.
Chicago, we do things face to face. If you friend me on Facebook, I can send you the link, but I'm not in the group chat because
Well,
it
I
gives.
mean, listen, it shouldn't just be you. I mean, who's running the show backstage?
Right. Well, we have.
Okay, we're not going to name no names, but
There's
if somebody wants
there's
me to
no
be on
one
the
running the
show,
show backstage. I'm running this show front
oh,
stage.
okay. Well,
Uh,
let's listen. Let's just listen. Let's just make odds and odds. If people want me to be on the show, let's make sure that the links are sent before the show even starts. And I'm not just saying you. I'm saying everybody that's part of UPR. Any show that we do on UPR, because this happens on Wednesday, it happens on Tuesday. Let's make sure we all get the link. That's it.
all right, everyone at UPR, you've been put on notice. If Vinny
I'll put
sees
everybody
you, it's
on
going to
fucking
be
notice. I'll burn
it's
a
going to be
motherfucking
on
tree down.
site. It's going to be on site Eddie Kingston style.
Listen, you don't want to call me the fuck out because I'll call you out on your shit.
There you go. Look at that. And I believe that is your friend that's in the comments saying that I'm nice. You are correct. Even though I'm evil does, I'm nicely evil.
I'm the evil dick tonight.
Listen, this is not my fault because I'm not in the group chat. I
have not once said Jeff's name. I am just saying this. All I'm saying to you is that there has to be better communication. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, okay. Well, you just told the world and the 34 people watching and the millions and millions who will listen on the download. So, Vinny, aside from being upset about the communication issue, like we're Judgment Day a few weeks ago, how the hell are you?
I'm pissed off tonight.
I can see. Let's see if we can get ourselves bigger. There we go. All right, now we're bigger. That's better. People can see how handsome we are.
I think we're all sucked tonight.
Really? Well,
Yes.
Grades will be at the end, so we'll talk about that at the end. So, just like Vinny, CM Punk's a little bit angry because he says people talk about me. Even they pretend they hate me, but they need me, but they talk about me a lot. And Pat, I heard you talking about some guy named Roman Reigns. I'm sorry, I'm not a day listener. And then he says, I listened to the drive-through and the experience, referencing Jim Cornette. So, he wound up the internet, the IWC is going, Punk is getting cooked for those Cornette comments. I'm like, IWC is so stupid. That's exactly what he intended. You are confused as to who's the chef and who's the meal. You're the meal. You're getting the reaction exactly that you wanted. But hey, who knew that CM Punk was a Jim Cornette fan? Not me. But here's the big surprise. Everyone thinks I'm a Jim Cornette fan. I'm not a Jim Cornette fan, but I've never listened to his podcast. Not once. Not either one of them.
How long did this promo go on with CM Punk? Because I missed 30 minutes of the show before.
Ooh, I mean, it was probably...
Did it start the show out?
No. A Cody promo started the show out, and then The Rock came out. Then we got a Ricochet JD McDonough match. Then it came to Punk. So Punk basically started the promo, and around the top of the hour is sort of when we got the first interference, or we got his mentions of Roman, Seth. The Rock isn't talking about him, but Roman and Seth are talking about him. Seth hates him. About Drew, who can't get him out of his mouth. And then we get Drew interrupting right around the 9 o'clock hour. So
can anybody tell me what the fuck this JD McDonough does for I just don't get why they're so fucking high on this guy. This guy blows.
He's actually a really good wrestler, but personality he sucks everywhere. He's always in the right place. He's always in the right space. But I imagine he's to WWE what AEW fans think that Wheeler Yuta, Lee Moriarty, or Daniel Garcia is. He's a good technician who doesn't screw up. But there ain't a lot to him on his own.
Well, I'll tell you right now, he's no Finn Balor, and they stick him in this bullshit group, the Judgment Day. Which, honestly, I'm going to tell you this right now. I really thought the Judgment Day wasn't going to last long. I thought this was a stupid idea. And I said to myself, don't worry about it. It's going to be done in a couple months. And boy, the fuck was I wrong. I think this is the dumbest. See, this is the problem with wrestling today. And everybody should know this. There's too many fucking factions. This is how the world of wrestling figures a way to get everybody involved without giving them a match. Let's put them in a group. Let's let them speak their piece, and maybe let them wrestle once a month.
Well,
I mean,
I
to me,
mean,
that's selfish. That's very, very selfish.
except that if you didn't do that, you would have 1/3 the amount of wrestlers employed, maybe 1/4 the amount of wrestlers employed.
Maybe they
So,
should be doing that. Maybe WWE should look at their 200 and whatever, 250 roster of guys, and let's be honest. Let's just say that maybe we use, I don't know, 20 guys out of 250. So there's 200. Well, let's put it this way: on WWE 24.
are you going to say that about the other promotion too?
Oh, absolutely,
All right.
absolutely. There's probably about 200 people on the roster, and they probably only use 20. Maybe there's a little less. Maybe 200 is like legends on 2K24. Well, so let's just say 175 guys. You have 175 guys on the roster. You use 20 of them. So you're telling me that a multi-billion-dollar company that's now merged with UFC is paying people to fly in, eat catered food, and sit backstage and do absolutely nothing, and they're getting a paycheck?
Yep. That's what
ridiculous.
they're doing. That's what they've done, and that's what they've always done, and that's what a lot of the promotions do.
Which is ridiculous.
Now, there are, on these shows, there are dark matches that we don't see, but that's probably not more than, there's probably some tag team matches and 3-ways and whatever. But this, that's probably another 10 or 12 wrestlers involved in those. They, take main event. And
they never give you a good match on dark matches at the beginning. They give you stupid.
I listen, I don't watch main event. I don't watch
Speed not even main
on
event.
X. I don't watch the show that's on CW. But I'm just saying that some of the wrestlers are flown in for a purpose, because the fans didn't pay to see 5 matches, usually. So
do you even get 5 matches on Raw?
Well, so far we've got 1. So we'll keep count. 1 so far. So Drew McIntyre interrupts and basically saying, Punk, I've been praying for you to be here. You think that I'm upset with you. I'm not. This is divine intervention. He tears off one CM Punk related shirt where Punk says, I never needed another man's name on any of my shirts to sell them. But Drew tears off one shirt. He's got the CM Punk graveyard shirt that is Wrestlemania Dreams Are Dead. So, and they're going back and forth. A little bit politically incorrect here. CM Punk is talking about Seth, how he's wearing high heels to finally get himself taller than CM Punk. He's talking about how Drew was wearing a skirt. Is he a Scottish psychopath in a kilt, or is he a bitch ass in a skirt that's afraid to face me? And Drew's like, nah, you misunderstand me. I don't hate you. You complete me. You're my muse. Every time I'm struggling with a rep, I think about you and I push that weight up. And, I really, want you to be at WrestleMania. And Punk's like, oh, you're the chosen one? Who chose you? What paragon of virtue? Say his name. I dare you. Say his name. So he's talking about Vince, of course. And then basically comes to where Punk, infers that he's going to be the guest commentator during the match, and Drew McIntyre's be my guest, be the guest commentator during the match at WrestleMania. So this is where I see that they've already made the decision. Like, I was hoping to be a referee or maybe a special enforcer, and they even made a scene where Drew said that Seth comes in and interrupts, and and Seth tries to poll the audience, but he only does one choice. He only does commentator. He doesn't say anything else. He doesn't get to referee, and he points to CM Punk's elbow brace and he says that's his counting arm, and CM Punk goes down to the mat and counts to 3 with his left arm, so to prove him wrong. So I think they were doing some improvs. Seth is basically like, hey, listen, I only want one thing out of you, Punk. I haven't thought about you at all. Just stay out of my way. And then Punk is like, okay, so commentary it is. But I'll tell you what, one thing that I'm going to do that the two of you can't do for yourself when I'm on commentary, I'm going to make both of you interesting. And as Drew is paying attention to Punk, sort of what he's accused Seth of not keeping his eye on the ball, Seth super kicks Drew and then curb stomps him while he's been barking at Phil. So that is that segment. That takes us really to like the hour and 15-minute mark. Vinny, your comments.
I really don't understand why they're wasting time with CM Punk. I feel like you hit the nail on the head when you said I think they missed the I think they missed a bus on this one because I mean, like, I know he's hurt, but obviously CM Punk showed you that he can count to 3 with his other hand. So my theory is, so you're going to bring CM Punk out for the heavyweight championship match between Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins, and what are you
draw? Our viewer count is up to 36. You've almost doubled our views just by you being here.
That's to me. I'm the fucking king.
Yeah, the king of spades.
I really just wish they would figure out another way out to use CM Punk. Yes, he's hurt, but could CM Punk be a referee? Absolutely. Could it be enforcer? Wasn't there a couple years ago Kurt Angle was the enforcer and he was outside the ring?
Yep.
Like couldn't they do something like that? Because realistically, what are you trying to pull with CM Punk on commentator? Like, you can't go. I mean, can he really go over there and hit him, or or do something without trying to hurt him? Like, I don't really understand. Besides that, the promo. I'm gonna be honest with you. I really never saw McIntyre as a main event guy. And I think the reason why is that when you put him in a goofy, stupid group, what was it, three-man band?
Oh, years ago,
yeah. I don't know. I just I'm not gonna say he's not a good wrestler because he is. I don't know. I just can't get past the fact that, like, they've done this so many times. I mean, they do this. I mean, Eric Young went on TNA. Like, Eric Young used to be like the scrawny guy and running around. Or I'm sorry, TNA. And then they made him this like main event like monster, like all built up and stuff.
Right after he was a halfwit for years.
Yeah, exactly. After he was nobody, and that's what I look at as Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre for years was just. He was never taken serious. He was a scrawny guy. He got put in all these stupid vignettes with these stupid groups. And then my thing is, all of a sudden you pull the cord and now he's a main event guy. Like, what changed that? What made the outcome of him being a top commodity for WWE?
Well, him leaving WWE, being released, and making a name for himself on the indies.
Is that what you have to do these days to really be a wrestler? Like, I laugh about this every single time it happens. Like, so many guys, like, I mean, right now, Matt Cardona is like, they call him the king of the indies, the king of death match, which I really don't understand why. I mean, it's a gimmick.
He's not Terry Funk.
No, he's definitely not Terry Funk. But like, it kills me that you have to leave a company like WWE for them to see what you're really worth.
Well, sometimes that's what they want to. They want you to show them that you really want it. That maybe you got success too early.
Yeah, but where did he go? Where did he go?
Where did he go? He went to Evolve. He went to TNA/Impact. He was the champion there.
Drew McIntyre was champion TNA.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Jeez. All right. That shows you how much
he was with the Rising with not Tongaloa and Eli Drake. But you know what? We're going to pick this up after this commercial.
We saw Cody Rhodes give a very heartfelt promo. How this isn't about him just finishing his story, but it's about everybody else finishing their story. It's about him giving the world title to his mother because Dusty's not around. Did that pull at your heartstrings at all?
Not at all. I mean, it solidified the fact that he's such a bitch. Like he once again, he's doing everything in the world. Rock said it best. He looked at him like he ran over his damn dog. And now he's out here. He's still trying to play the sympathy card. The man, if you looked at his documentary on Peacock, they admitted that he knows how to cry on command, right? So he sits there, he's like, oh, it's the same shit he was saying since he went back in WWE. The whole time he was at AEW, he wasn't saying all this shit every freaking week. But now he has to talk about it all the time. Nobody gives a crap, okay? Nobody cares. You want to give it to your mom. You want to give it to your dad. You want to give it to your daughter. You want to give it to your damn dog. Nobody cares. Stop whining. Stop crying. You're going to lose at WrestleMania. You're going to lose. You're going to get pinned because you're going to get your head stomped in the ground by Seth freaking Rollins. You don't deserve the title. You're too much of a bitch. Nobody wants you to face WWE.
So I believe that was a segment from UPR Wrestling Shorts. That is with the executive consultant, Chris Harris, my erstwhile co-host, though he's only been the co-host twice. Frankly, Vinny's been my co-host more than Chris, and it's going swimmingly. I mean, look at this attention. And my co-host on Hammerlock Hangover, Steve Pena, although also Bad Guy Jack from UPR, is also the every other week co-host on Hammerlock Hangover.
I want to put a bet right now.
Yeah.
Mark this down, March 25th, 2024. We have a week away from WrestleMania. I want to challenge the consultant right now. I want to make a bet with him. He believes that he thinks he's still gonna have the title after WrestleMania.
Okay.
So I am laying the challenge down, and I want to make a friendly wager here.
Well, what are the terms of the friendship?
I'm actually going here. Here's the thing. I'm laying the challenge out tonight. On Wednesday on Dynamite show, I'm going to lay out all the what do you call it? I can't even think of the word.
The terms, the wager,
terms, the wager. Because I really
stipulations.
Stipulations. There we go. I really do think that after Mania this year, I think Roman's taking a long break. I think he's going to take a long break until SummerSlam. I really think that's going to happen.
Well, his build leads me to agree with you. He has slimmed down a lot. He went from that 265 down to he's looking like 230 now. So I think he's going to film a movie or something because that's movie slim. Anyway, so that was great booking. So, folks, you need to tune in to Wednesday night, the Dynamite review show, to see if the executive consultant accepts the terms and if he has any counter terms of his own, because there's going to be a major announcement. That's right. A major announcement after Dynamite, where there'll almost certainly be a major announcement on Dynamite, I imagine. I don't know for sure, but I'm just guessing. Okay. We then get a Nakamura promo about Jey Uso basically saying, oh, Jey Uso, he wants his dream match to face his brother. What about me? What about Raven? I mean, what about Nakamura? Where's my dream? I'm going to turn your dream into a nightmare. Someone's already a nightmare. Nakamura, this is getting old. You've been enhancement talent for 2 years. That's all you are, but okay, fine. So that was that. And then we get like a mini commercial where apparently Meek Mill is going to be at WrestleMania, which I've heard of Meek Mill. I couldn't tell you a song by Meek Mill, but Mr. Khan or other promoters, if you're listening, but really Mr. Khan, because you're the only one who does this, when you're going to have people who are famous in the outside world on your show, promote it in advance. It doesn't do much good to have West Side Gun and actors from various shows and Rick Ross on your show if you don't advertise it in advance. That's not the way the world works any longer. The buzz is going to get on there. Ooh, I got to see West Side Gun on TV, or I need to see Snoop Dogg, you need to market it in advance. So there you go. So Meek Mill, I guess he's a Philly guy. I don't know. I know he's famous. So good job on that. And we get back from this immediately to a match where during the Punk Drew exchange, when Seth Rollins came in, as far as I'm concerned, a lot of the energy was sucked right out of that audience, but they did pick it back up with the end where there was the fighting. But the audience took a collective nap when we got back. Ivy Nile facing Candice LeRae, Maxine Dupree on the outside, Indy Hartwell on the outside, Indy looking conflicted. The crowd was absolutely asleep during this entire match. Basically, at some point, there's a little bit of wrestling, not very much. Candice knocks Ivy Nile out of the match. Then she turns around and she hits Maxine Dupree while she's on the ring apron, and then she immediately crawls into the corner pretending that she has a knee injury, the same thing she did last week. Ivy Nile is not buying it, but the referee, who didn't see it, is buying it and tries to get between Ivy Nile and Candice LeRae. Ivy Nile shoves the referee away and gets in there, but that allows Candice LeRae to sort of be prepared, and as Ivy Nile walks up, she flips her ankles up and then does basically a roll up and then uses the ropes to get leverage to score a 3 count. Maxine's out and Indy is conflicted. Also, there were a couple segments where while Ivy Nile was on the outside, Candice wanted Indy to hit Ivy now, while she was outside, and Candice really couldn't decide Indy couldn't decide what to do. She didn't. The camera work really didn't show this, so the cameras didn't do a very good job. So even those moments of tension, it was just known by commentary. But anyway, Candice, basically lying and cheating to be on the, to get the win. And Indy is not thrilled. That's sort of the story of that match. Vinny, your thoughts on what was not a very impressive match?
I really didn't watch this match. I think this is when I stepped away for a minute. I'm not a big fan of Avi, whatever her name is, Niall, whatever her name is. I can never say it right. I think she's too small. And I'm not going to say that she's not built for the ring, but she doesn't impress me. Like to me, she's another Ronda Rousey. Like she's just there,
Hello, Charmaine. Hugs and kisses to you too as well. Vinny, I'm sure some of those are for you. So, I like Ivy Nile. I don't like this story. I don't like her pairing with Maxine Dupree. I know it's sort of Diamond Mine and Alpha Academy are sort of similar in that regard, but I sort of like Ivy Nile and Xia Li as sort of like a short but deadly, killer tag team kind of thing. Anyway, not about them because honestly, this was the least important part of the show. We cut back to seeing the New Day and DIY talking about their match tonight, how it's going to be friendly, but they start talking smack almost immediately to each other. It's getting, a little bit heated where, the New Day is saying, why you call yourself do it yourself? You're a tag team. That doesn't make any sense. And you've never been to WrestleMania because you were never good enough before that. And then Ciampa's like, hey, why do you call yourselves a New Day? There's absolutely nothing new about you. And Gargano's like, hey, we're just fooling around here. It's just supposed to be fun. And the temperature comes down a little bit. Then the Miz and R-Truth come up and engage in the banter. And basically, they're going to be on commentary while this match is taking place. R-Truth is very excited that DX is going to be facing the New Day, and he thinks Pat McAfee is JBL, so he's going to talk to JBL, and Miz is like, that's Pat McAfee. He's like, JBL changed his name, so this was a little bit hokey, but sort of what you expect. But in the background, we see Paul Heyman talking to Drew McIntyre about what? Who knows? Probably about the weather. Probably nothing to do with WrestleMania or their schemes at all. But that was this segment. Thoughts?
Can I ask you?
Wait. The hugs and kisses were for me. You just got a high.
It's okay. It's all right. I bring the thunder.
You dine with jealousy. I can tell.
How long are they going to ride with this stupidity of R-Truth? Like, I know people think this is funny, and I'm not going to lie. There were some things that are funny, like the Royal Rumble when he went into the Women's Rumble. But I feel like after a while, this is just. Again, there's no place for the Miz on the roster. There's no place for R-Truth on the roster.
Well, they're going to be the undisputed tag team champions after WrestleMania.
You think they're going to win the championships?
Oh, absolutely. The whole story about WrestleMania is the Judgment Day losing everything except for Mama.
Well, I know I just don't think. I just don't think that's a smart decision. If you think they're going to win, I don't see.
I don't think it's going to be a long reign, but I think yes.
I mean, honestly, like I know you're probably one of those goofy guys that think this is funny. Like, I mean,
sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's not.
Every week, I don't really love something stupid.
I'd say it's 50-50. The Miz, I don't like the Miz. I mean, I respect the Miz, but I'm not interested in the Miz at all.
Well, you know what though? As much as people don't respect the Miz, I get it. But here's what you have to respect. Here's what you have to understand about the Miz. Okay, number one, the Miz came from reality TV. Okay, how many people have tried to come in? Let's just say Maven, for instance, come in to the WWE world and make a name of themselves and actually get it to where they become a good wrestler. There's not many. Okay, like I really don't think Logan Paul is a great wrestler. I mean, I think he does a lot of stunts. I think he tries. Bad Bunny's another one. Like these guys, they're just these guys are just there to bring the viewers. People want to see these guys because they're big on YouTube and the internet. But can they really wrestle? I don't think so.
Well, you can probably count them. I can think of 3 that made it big, and The Miz is certainly the biggest of them. The Miz is number 1. John Morrison, whatever his many names are, would be number 2, and Casey Katana Chance.
Wait, where'd John Morrison come from?
Tough Enough. He also came from the show Tough Enough.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well,
I mean, Maurice would be, Maurice is somewhere in that conversation. She came from that. I mean, the Bunny came from those shows as well, though she didn't, there was a long break there. And there were I think Mandy Rose was on one of those shows as well. I mean, there have been some, but no, I mean, The Miz is by far the most, even without coming from reality TV, The Miz has one of the most successful professional wrestling careers ever. Including his outside ventures, his TV, his business, his reality shows,
and
all
I
the
think
movies.
what really makes him
crappy movies, but he's been in like 10 or 15 movies that we've heard of, and probably another 10 that we've never heard of and never will.
I think
sure, 8 of them were the Marine.
Well, I think what really makes The Miz is that people don't know that The Miz is very good to his fans. And he will stand outside for hours with his fans and talk and sign autographs and take pictures, knowing that he's a bad guy or a heel. He still does this, and I really do think that shows a part of your character on if you take time for your fans or not.
I don't think that him and Cody and Morrison and Dolph Ziggler are all best friends, and they all act the same way.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Hold on a minute. I'm going to tell you this right now. Everybody thinks Cody is like the nicest guy to his fans. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say he's not. But at the end of the day, Cody is a real quick with his fans. Let's just say 30 seconds and gone. Like there might be days where he takes a little more time, but Cody is not one to be out there for an hour.
I've heard that he spends hours signing autographs. I'm
gonna tell you what. I love to talk to somebody that has, because
listen, during this run with his return to WWE, he's definitely been corporate Cody, face of the corporation. I don't know if that's always been his entire career. I've seen Cody out and about probably about 3 or 4 times now. Probably 2 Raws. I've seen him at a SmackDown. I've seen him at AEW. Okay. I think he did more in AEW with his fans than he is now. Well, probably did. He was completely invested. I mean, he thought this was going to be a company where he was going to have generational wealth coming out of it, that he was going to go down in fame, not just as a wrestler, but also a promoter and owner of a promotion. So I'm sure he put everything into it. But he learned from that.
Well, no, he gave up too quick.
Well, I don't think he gave up. No, I think he gave up at exactly the right time.
Well, I mean, but let's be honest, though. Let's be honest. So, if me and you were looking into the window right now, do you honestly think that Cody has got what he deserves in the 2 years that he's been there? Like, I'm gonna say that if he would have stayed in AEW, I think he would have gotten a lot farther than he is now.
Absolutely. I really do. AEW is a constant parade of new toys.
You say that, though, but it seems that there's always the same people getting the belt.
Exactly. And that's a problem. I mean, remind me again, what's Roosh doing? The big superstar from the Continental Classic? What's Jay Lethal? What's he doing that's important? What's Mark Briscoe doing that's important? What's Brody King doing? All of them were in the Continental Classic. Remember that series of banger after banger after banger? What's Danny Garcia doing? He's hanging out with Matt Maynard. I mean, where's AR Fox? Where's Lance Archer? Where's Nick Camarada? Where's Tony?
I mean, you're right. They don't use the people they should be using. You're right. I agree with you.
Well, they have a constant parade of people. Parker Boudreaux still works for AEW, for God's sake.
Anyway. I agree with you. They don't use their talent the right way. They always I think a lot of those guys should be on TV, but this is the problem with AEW, and we talk about it every week. They choose the top 7 guys they use every single week, and they put him on there, and they do nothing different. And
It's the wrong guys. It's Orange Cassidy and his doofus friends. Now, I appreciate that Orange Cassidy has a fan base, but his doofus friends don't. It's Jericho and his boys, and no one's into any of them any longer. And then there's like, and the elite, come and go, and the BCC come and go.
And
I'm
Jericho's
sure
looking really bad right now. He's looking very. I was listening to Conan show the other night, and Conan even said, I think Jericho should take some time off. He's not looking like Jericho. I mean, let's just be honest. Jericho's in his 50s right now. I mean,
he's 53 years old.
Okay, I mean, you can even see it in it. You can see it in him that he doesn't. It's like he wants to be there, but it doesn't show.
Well, you know what? This is a great time to put on the Dynamite review show commercial so people know what they can look forward to Wednesday night. And we come back, we're going to talk about what you think Paul Heyman and Drew McIntyre were talking about.
I feel that's a typical Darby Allin match, though.
Vinny would tell you that's a great match because he
going all out. He goes all out.
Yeah.
Literally.
Vinny's still on cloud 9 over here. Look, no. Let me tell you guys. This match, this was absolute shit. Okay, I can't believe that they put this on TV. What are they doing? This is the same thing every week, and you might as well just get me Doink the freaking clown out here. Okay, what are we doing? Give me Michael Hayes. All right. I really enjoyed watching Kane go against The Undertaker for the 20th time on Dynamite. It was great. I loved it.
Tony's going out here just flocking around.
Tony was flocking. He was flocking around. What are they doing?
Why have y'all not told that man the word is flapping? Why do y'all keep letting this man say flocking every fucking week?
Oh, man. I can't believe this big, fat pile of steaming shit that I was given tonight. This was terrible. I don't know why they do this. This is pro wrestling. I'm going to give it a B+.
Well, on Wednesday night, you have some scores to settle, not just the executive consultant, but your little friend there who was doing he was doing a Judd Hirsch from Taxi over there, who played Jeff Goldblum's father in the Independence Day movies. If you don't know who Judd Hirsch is,
well, listen, I'm not going to sit here and say that sometimes I give a ridiculous score after giving a complete shit review of AEW Dynamite. So listen, it is what it is,
Yeah, I do know. So what I don't know is, what do you think that Drew and Paul Heyman were talking about? Maybe how the bloodline can help Drew achieve his goals while he can help the bloodline achieve theirs.
I want to say maybe he was giving him encouraging advice against Seth Rollins, but I really do have a feeling, and this is just me, I have a feeling he's going to be in some way, in somewhat of something to do with. I know they haven't announced it yet, okay, and I'm very surprised. We have 1 week left, and there's nothing. There's no sign or anything of ECW anything. No, nothing. No reunion. No guys announced to put Paul Heyman in. Nobody in the Hall of Fame. Very surprised that they're not doing anything ECW, knowing that this is the 40th anniversary of WrestleMania, and they're in the hometown of where ECW became a company, and there's nothing. Very shocked about this. So could be Paul Heyman be talking to Drew McIntyre to maybe set something up for that? Who knows?
All right. Could be. All right. I'm not sure what Drew McIntyre has to do with ECW, and I don't really understand everybody's obsession with ECW, but that's okay.
Well, you don't understand why they should be doing something for ECW?
For ECW, no. If you want someone from ECW to be involved with Paul Heyman, I get it, but there's people more important. I mean, first of all, most of the people who are still around from ECW are persona non grata for WWE or working for competitors or adverse to them. So, like, Bully Ray is the closest, and he's on Busted Open Radio. And they have choices like CM Punk and Stone Cold Steve Austin, who are, have ties to both Paul Heyman and ECW. So I don't know. Maybe there will be a surprise. Maybe they will surprise us and they will have a reunion. Maybe they're just trying to figure out, if they can get Raven and RVD and all these people to come out without there being,
RVD's under contract. Here's what kills me.
I don't think RVD's under contract. I think he just does appearances with AEW.
No. I know, but I'm saying if you go look it up, he's under a WWE Legends contract.
Well, then they let him work for AEW. Good for them. And
that's crazy to me. That's because that's never happened. Here's the craziest part is that back then they used to tell their guys not to go to other people's shows. How many times in the last 2 months have we seen Matt Hardy at WWE? We've seen Bailey and somebody else at AEW, like
Trinity and Tamina.
Yeah,
where Bailey and Mercedes have been sort of following and supporting each other, and Trinity for the most part as well. Last year we saw CM Punk go to Raw. Ricky Starks we saw backstage at the Royal Rumble two Rumbles ago. So yes, it's happening more frequently. I don't know that it's happening more frequently. I just think that we're finding out about it more frequently with everyone having cell phones and leaks and dirt sheets and the internet and social media. So, who knows? These wrestlers, they're not in competition with each other. They're happy for each other to get the work and to all get the big checks. And most of them know that it might be fleeting. And so they're happy that everyone's getting those big paydays while they can. Anyway, moving on with Raw. We learned that Snickers is presenting WrestleMania. We already saw a couple of Snickers commercials.
Really?
Yeah.
What's this, like the 19th year in a row?
Well, nothing wrong with that. I love Snickers. Peanut butter Snickers is my favorite. I can't find them anywhere, but I'll take a almond Snickers or a Snickers traditional. So we get the New Day versus DIY. Awesome Truth is on commentary. This match basically breaks down when Judgment Day comes in and attacks both teams. They're for a while, it looks like it's sort of even up, and then Judgment Day starts beating them up. R-Truth is on commentary, so he believes there's a force field around him and he can't get involved in the action, but The Miz has seen enough. He gets in there. Looks like he's going to be the hero, but Judgment Day, they just have the numbers. They've already done the damage to the other four folks, and then they beat up The Miz, and then they come out to go after R-Truth, and R-Truth's, no, I'm on commentary, cut to commercial. JBL, you're going to help me. Come on, cut the commercial. I can't wrestle. I'm on commentary, but they throw him into the ring. He fights off three of them, but then Priest hits him with the razor's edge, and then they all beat him up. And, and then that's how we leave this segment with the Judgment Day is beating everyone up and doesn't care that R-Truth thought he was on commentary, and that's it. We then see Jackie Redmond with Cody. By the way, Jackie again was going with that vest with the top button open. Oh my goodness gracious. Cody, what did the Rock whisper in your ear? And Cody's like, apologies to everyone. Apologies to the fans and to the crowd and to Chicago. No disrespect, but it's something I'd rather not say. So there you go.
Was that a Batman impression?
I'm vengeance. And then we go from one smoke show to another, and not in Cody, I mean Kathy Kelly, and she's talking to Gunter. Hey, Gunter, how do you respond to Sammy's comments last week where he believes in himself? And Gunter's like, yeah, I don't care. I don't think you can beat me. I don't even think you can beat Bronson Reed tonight. And then we see the first of many commercials where Warner Brothers Godzilla times Kong is sponsoring Raw, not just buying ad time on Raw, but getting shout outs from commentary, having a tailored commercial where Michael Cole is doing commentary over Godzilla versus Kong scenes. Warner Brother Discovery's big budget blockbuster film coming to theaters soon is sponsoring Raw. What does that say about Warner Brothers Discovery's feelings, especially in light of on Saturday, they didn't even bother to air a collision. They said, no, we're not going to preempt you. No, we're not going to put you on a different channel. No, we're not going to put you on a different day and time. Just don't bother running the show. You okay?
No, I'm confused about this whole AEW Discovery Warner Brothers relationship because
As you should be. As you should be. Because this confusion is the first step to realization. You're on the path to wisdom.
I mean, because for the longest time, we've been hearing the last couple of years that supposedly AEW is going to be on HBO and they're going to be on Discovery, and then this happens. So obviously, we know that. Listen, I'm just going to say this: if there is still a possibility of AEW being on HBO, then why is HBO also digging into WWE? Like that that doesn't seem right.
I didn't know that HBO was digging into WWE, but I don't know.
Well, HBO is owned. Well, no. HBO is not owned by. Maybe I'm thinking this wrong. So it's HBO. No, it's Warner Brothers Discovery is one, but then Warner Brothers had a contract with HBO to put their movies.
Warner Brothers Discovery owns HBO. Max is
okay. So I was right.
Company.
Okay, so I was right.
Yeah. If that was your thought,
well, I guess what I'm trying to say is that I guess I'm confused because I mean I know you probably read it that they're in they were in talks about putting they were going to take it off actual television and put it on just like Raw's going to Netflix.
Yeah, I've been hearing all of this nonsense for years and years and years. So I mean, not years and years and years because AEW hasn't been in existence so long, but I've been hearing about Max probably for 2.5 years now, and it's all nonsense. Anyway, this not about that, I guess. Anyway, so the next match is Andrade. He's facing Giovanni Vinci. It was supposed to be Ivar. Apparently, Ivar is not medically cleared. They said it on air, so I guess that's to let you know that this loss to Vinci is about to take doesn't really count because he's a fill-in. They remind us that Judgment Day was keeping tabs on Andrade and they were watching them. This is a pretty quick match. It was fine. Andrade's finisher is basically a spinning cutter, and he calls it the Message. Andrade with the win over Giovanni Vinci. And, I don't have much more to say about this. I have nothing more to say about this match. I don't know if you have any thoughts.
This bothers me with guys that they have. You start seeing like Da Vinci. You see Da Vinci every week with Imperium, and then now all of a sudden you give him a singles match. So now we're not going to see Da Vinci for probably another 2 months.
We'll see Vinci, but with this tag team part. I mean, but if you're saying that they should have had, this would have been a good place for Dexter Lumis to lose, or Apollo Crews to lose.
I mean,
Cameron Grimes to lose.
When's the last time we've seen Dexter Lumis?
Exactly, or Cedric Alexander. There's people who are free agents, or.
And I'm sorry, but Andrade looks like total garbage right now. I mean, he is not the same Andrade that left AEW. Like he just looks horrible in the ring. I don't know if he just doesn't care. I don't know if he's just not trying to do Lucha Libre anymore. I don't know what it is, but he is not the same Andrade that left and came back.
I think he is the same Andrade. I've just never thought Andrade was all that great. I thought he was okay. I mean,
go back and watch his matches in AEW. They're a hell of a lot better than they have been on WWE.
I am absolutely not going back and watching reruns of wrestling matches. That is not something I do, especially random matches. But I think in the last 2.5 years, I hate to say it just because they have a similar look and a similar heritage, but WWE developed a better version in Santos Escobar.
Go on without me. I got to take care of something quick. Hold on.
You take care of that something. All right. Oh, no, we're back down to 22 viewers. Now we're still 37. Don't you people leave me. Oh, 38. Look at me. I'm the draw now. Vinny was holding us down. All right. So anyway, then we see Judgment Day, but it's really just Mommy and Dom, and they're talking. They're acting like they're very much in love. So, that's great. And there was acknowledgement that Mommy did a homage to Rikishi, so to speak, over the weekend. And, on the IWC, there was like, I can't believe people are sexualizing wrestlers. So then Rhea put out a picture of her basically sexualizing herself. And it's just like, shut the F up, people. I mean, wrestling is showbiz. So that's part of it. And the women know this. And Sky Blue knew it too, because she said, oh, people look at my butt. Thank you. I worked really hard to make my butt look like that. So it's part of the business. They understand it. Anyway, so we then get Pat McAfee. He announces that he's going to be welcoming in Triple H and Cody to his show, which will be airing live during WrestleMania on April 5th at WWE Live. So 2 big guests for the Pat McAfee show there. Rhea accompanies or comes to the ring accompanied by Dominic. There is a brace on her left wrist. It's not hidden. Pat McAfee mentions it. Basically, a promo is, I need more attention from a certain somebody. Becky is busy fighting everybody, and she's not paying attention to me. So this is a little bit lazy, I think, because the story with everyone is sort of like, you're not paying attention to me. You're taking your eye off the ball. Seth and Drew with Seth, Drew and Punk, Cody with The Rock, Cody not with Roman, Roman maybe not looking at The Rock, Rhea now with Becky and not paying attention to me. Sammy, Zayn, he's like, I can't focus on Gunther. I'm stuck in my own head, and Chad Gable telling him to focus. I mean, it's like the same story. It's like, and I used to bitch at AEW for having the same story on the same show like 2 or 3 times. This is 4 times in the same show, but this is the 3rd of the 4th. Becky, you're busy fighting others, and basically Becky interrupts her. At this point, I just heard Charlie Brown teacher words, wah, 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 and then I heard Mommy say, okay, Becky, you're a survivor. You're a cockroach. And the only thing that's going to happen is that after WrestleMania, your daughter's going to be crying, and she's going to be calling me Mommy. And then Becky gets and does crying to imitate Cody Rhodes and basically says, that's not a joke to me. You can't talk about my daughter that way. My father never met my daughter. He lived to see me win the championship, but he never lived to see his daughter. And that's not a joke to me, talking about my daughter. And you're treating the title like a joke, and it's not a joke to me. And I don't know what the hell she was going on about. But anyway, Becky throws a right hook. It hits Dom right in the jaw. It looks like they do it in slow-mo. It looks like it really hit him. His jaw was doing the full Apollo Creed when Drago hit him. Fight. Is
it me that they're going more for the NFL look with like the circling and the slow motion and things like that?
Absolutely.
Like I mean, like what's your thoughts about this?
I'm enjoying the freedom. I'm enjoying the patastrator. I'm enjoying the new camera work that is keeping a single shot, but from different angles, that we're not getting the Kevin Dunn constant cuts, that we're doing some sort of more single shot camera angles, that Triple H is putting some Easter eggs in the back. Not quite as much when he was fighting with Vince in the beginning, where you'd have all the Bray Wyatt and Karrion Kross hidden Easter eggs all over the place, and you had to sort of scan QR codes that led you to nothing that made sense. Yeah, but I like it. I think anything that's different in a 3-hour show helps, and Pat has energy, and that helps. I am confused as to, you have Braun Breaker, Tiffany Stratton, Jade Cargill, all added to the SmackDown roster on which is a 2-hour show, which is plenty of star power already, when Raw sort of could use every infusion it needs. But that's more indication to me that Roman Reigns is leaving for a while, and the Bloodline's going to take a back seat, and so they're going to need a little bit more of an ensemble to pick things up. This
should be happening, because there's too much of the Bloodline. It's been going on for too long, and maybe we're going to see this take a back seat, which is I'm very, very excited for.
Right, and I feel like modern wrestling fans, not all, but to an extent, that some of them think that when somebody loses, they can never win again, which is ridiculous. Ric Flair won the championship 16 times. Randy Orton, 14 times? Edge, 11 times? The 4 horsemen, they'd win, they'd lose. They'd win, they'd lose. They'd come back again, they'd reform. I mean, these are things that happen. So, I'm not saying that Roman and the Bloodline won't be back in some different order. I got to tell you, on SmackDown, they disappointed me, though, with that ending. Because when Paul Heyman said no one from the Bloodline will be there, I actually thought that was going to be the truth, but there would be not yet members of the bloodline there. I thought that might be where we see a Tama Tonga, or maybe they would just get like 8, Samoan indie wrestlers to come in and act like they were, not part of the bloodline, but wearing, security tank tops, but you could see their tribal tattoos or whatever. But no, they just went with the 3 heroes versus the 3 villains face off. But this is not about SmackDown. So anyway, Dom gets laid out, fight. I thought that they were doing the Dom taking the blows so that Rhea would protect her wrist, but no, they got into it. Her and Becky got into it, and it was a brawl, and the refs tried to break it up. Dom tried to break it up. Dom took at least 2 or 3 shots. I think 2 of them he was supposed to take. One of them I'm not so sure. But anyway, this was a brawl. So, while it was pretty dry to begin with, it ended fairly hot. Then we see Sami Callihan. Sami Zayn, God forbid we see Sami Callihan. Walking up, he sees Chad Gable, and Chad's like, "Hey, Sammy, I just wanted to clear the air about last week." And Sammy's like, No. You said what you said. You said it's in your heart. You don't need to say anything. Chad's like, "No, you need to stay focused. Gunter's in your head. He's playing mind games with you. You got to get your head out of your ass." And Sammy's like, "You know what? You're right. Thank you." They shake hands. Then we hear that The Rock is going to be at Raw next week. They actually announced a commentary earlier, but this was a graphic about it. And then we see Bronson Reed versus Sami Zayn. During the match, Bronson Reed's nose gets bloodied. I don't know if it's broken up, but he was bleeding pretty well. Gunter at some point comes up the rampway to watch. He doesn't make it all the way down to the ring, but Sami is obviously distracted. And those distractions, being obsessed with Gunter, allows Bronson Reed to get a win. He gets the big splash, and he beats Sami 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring. That's at least the second splash Sami has taken from the big 330-pounder. So, he's holding his ribs, and Gunter's laughing at him. I told you couldn't beat Bronson Reed. You're not focused. So yeah, pretty good little match, and unexpected. You think the guy that's going to WrestleMania with a title shot is going to win the match, and he doesn't.
Are you a fan of Bronson Reed?
I gotta say,
that's
no,
exactly what I said.
He's
a horrible wrestler.
He's a little bit short for me. If he was about 6'2", I'd be a bigger fan.
Listen, I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm very surprised that Bronson Reed is not only made it to the main roster, but is doing stuff on the main roster over Keith Lee. I honestly, everybody that went to NXT with me thought Keith Lee was going to be the biggest commodity for the main roster. And it just, I don't see what they see in Bronson Reed. I really don't.
Well, what's Keith Lee been doing the last 2 or 3 years?
But all I'm saying to you is I think Keith Lee has his ring, the way he wrestles. But they saw him gaining weight, and they all have access to something that we don't have, which is... What do you think? You think Bronson Reed's a fucking skinny guy? This guy's like 700 pounds.
They have access to his medical records, and I think they saw things with Keith Lee that the rest of us didn't see.
Well, I get that, but I mean, Bronson Reed doesn't look like he's taking a couple chalupas to less a week.
No, but he's younger. Listen, wrestling has a history of big men who don't look like they're... I mean, you got your Eddie Kingston. He's not Bronson Reed size, but I mean, you had Earthquake, you had the Typhoon, you had the Big Boss Man, you had Kamala, you had King Kong Bundy, the One Man Gang, you had Crusher Jerry Blackwell, Vader, Bam Bam Bigelow. There's the wrestling is replete with big guys. Abyss, Mick Foley, who didn't look like they were in shape and they could go. And I don't think their dying young rate is any higher than any other tranche of wrestlers. Anyway, moving on from that, because we're going a little bit long. We get a Jey Uso promo on Nakamura. He's basically saying, Nakamura, I'm going to beat you up, but it doesn't matter because that's not the point. The point is that Solo and Jimmy Uso sidle up to Jey, interrupting him, and basically say, "No yeet." So we know that they're there and they have menace in their hearts. Next segment is commentary plugging Becky's forthcoming book, The Man, Not Your Average Girl. And Michael Cole says that he has read excerpts of it. He didn't even bother to lie and said he read the whole thing.
She has 4 books?
What's that?
She has 4 books?
No, she has a book.
I thought you said forthcoming book.
Forthcoming book. That means to be coming in the future, not 4 books. Forthcoming, not forthcoming. Vince ruined him on the main roster. I think he's talking about Keith Lee. Or maybe he's talking about Bronson Reed. I'm not sure. Please clarify.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. Let's be honest. I can only count on my hands maybe. Hold on. I'm not talking about wrestlers from the past in NXT. I'm talking about before 2.0. I can only count on my hands maybe 2 guys that actually, like, okay, for instance, like
Jeff says Keith Lee, by the way.
What's his name? Bloodline, real tall guy. What's his name?
Bloodline, the real
not
tall
Bloodline.
guy?
I'm sorry, not Bloodline.
Oh, you're talking about Damian Priest, Judgment Day?
Damian Priest. I think he's, out of everybody that's been on the main roster, I think he's the most successful one.
From where?
I do not see Braun Breaker being a hot commodity coming up on NXT.
Well, that's a prediction for the future. But first of all, Gunther's done pretty well for himself. Secondly, the entire women's roster, except for Tamina and Natty, came through NXT.
But you didn't hear what I said. I said before 2.0. So anything between when Johnny Gargano and Finn Balor or on that roster. That's
Triple H. He's like Tony Khan. He's in love with the indie twinks. He basically loves your Roderick Strongs and your Adam Coles and your Kyle O'Reillys and all those zeros.
But that's what made NXT. Like NXT now, it's garbage. Like
I thought NXT then was garbage. I think NXT now is better. So
yeah. You think it's better now?
It's much better now. It's not even close. I feel like I'm investing in people who might have a future in wrestling as opposed to twinks who would have a future in Ring of Honor.
Bro, Undisputed Era and Velveteen Dream was the biggest.
The Undisputed Era were embarrassingly small. I remember when they were fighting with Keith Lee, it looked like four little jackals snipping at a giant. It was ridiculous.
Dude, you listen, I don't know if you're watching the same NXT I am.
I'm watching exactly the same
NXT today will never ever touch what they had at Full Sail. Ever. Never. I'll put $20 every week on NXT that their ratings will never come at close to what the ratings were back then. Not even close.
There were no ratings back then. It was on the network.
That is not true. That is not true. And there's nobody on the roster right now that's worth a shit. There's not one person that's worth a shit on that roster. Not one. Don't even say Trick Williams. Don't even say Braun Breaker. There's nobody that's fucking close.
I will say Trick Williams. I will say Carmelo Hayes. I will say Braun Breaker.
And I'm gonna tell you this right now.
I will say Ilya Dragunov. I will say Don Tony.
And these guys will be all gone by next year. Trust me on that.
I think they're all going to have 10-year careers, 10, 15-year careers.
Baloney, bro. Listen, I'm gonna tell you this right now.
Obafemi is going to be a star.
Who?
Obafemi.
Right then and there, you tell me the fucking name is not going to be a star. You're never going to see a shirt like that come out. You're not.
Okay.
Dude, I'm telling you, I just think their roster's shit, bro. I mean, listen, they took The Rock's daughter and made her the general manager.
That's because she can't wrestle and she's The Rock's daughter.
So fucking fire her.
You can't fire The Rock's daughter.
Yes, you.
No, you can't.
How can't you?
It's like firing you from Las Espadas. You can't do it.
First of all, The Rock doesn't own any part in WWE.
He's
on the board. He's on the board. He doesn't own part of it.
Well,
he's actually
on the board of TKO, the parent company. He's above the board of WWE.
So you're trying to tell me that they couldn't fire her?
I'm saying they legally could fire her. Why the fuck would they do that? Why would they alienate the biggest star associated with wrestling? Says you can't fire her, Benny. Anyway, Jeffrey, you can't blame Vince ruining Keith Lee for the 2.5 years afterwards and his constant bad health and his weight gain. That has nothing to do with Vince. It has nothing to do with a name called Bearcat. That's all.
Hold on. No. Bearcat was Vince. That was a horrible decision.
I didn't say that wasn't Vince. I said you can't blame what's happened to him the last 2.5 years on being called Bearcat 3.5 years ago.
But I'm gonna tell you this right now. There are people like Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa and Keith Lee, guys like that should stay in NXT. And the reason why is if I guarantee you right now, and mark my word, if Ciampa and Johnny Gargano were in NXT right now, the ratings would be a lot higher because those two guys made NXT.
They wouldn't be higher, but I agree they should
Oh
be in
God, they
NXT
would,
because
dude,
especially Gargano.
blow the charts off.
Garbage.
Blow
Little
it would,
twink.
dude. It would blow
Little
anything they're doing
twink.
right now off the chart. It would put Trick Williams and Carmella Hayes in the dust. Both of them.
You still don't understand what they're doing with NXT. They were wasting
They're
time
doing
with what they were
nothing with
doing.
NXT.
Just let me finish the sentence. They were trying to do a wrestling show before. Now they're trying to develop stars for the main roster. They don't care about the ratings for NXT that much. They're happy with what it's doing. They want to develop. If they graduate 4 or 5 wrestlers a year from NXT to the main roster, they are overachieving. It's not to put on banger matches or give you the best wrestling stories. It's to do short form NWA style to elevate people and make them TV ready for the main roster and have characters.
It doesn't work though. It's not working. It never has.
It
has before.
Bianca
way
Belair,
back in the day.
Rhea Ripley. I mean,
way back in the day, it worked. It's not working now, bro.
Way back in the day. They both were elevated within the last 3 years. I don't know what you're talking
Rhea
about.
Ripley, how long's Rhea Ripley been on the main roster for?
Like 3 years.
No, longer than 3 years.
I don't think
bro,
so.
It's been 3 years since the pandemic. She was there for the pandemic.
Yes, no, because during the pandemic, remember Charlotte won the Money in the Bank and she challenged Rhea Ripley for the NXT title. Anyway, we have to move on. We have to continue with Raw. So the next match is okay. So Sammy is upset. He's walking back, and Chad Gable intercepts him, and he says, "Listen, Gunther's in your head. You're beating yourself. If you want a new approach, find me." So I guess we're going to get Coach Gable, whether he's true to his word or whether it's a sneak, who knows? And in the background, we see Dominic talking to Andrade way in the way back, reminding us that Dominic is trying to recruit Andrade for the Judgment Day. We then see Jey Uso. He is, about to come down to the ring. He's a gorilla. And Seth Rollins says, "Listen, I have a bad feeling about tonight. Just know that me and Cody have your back." So Jey Uso versus Nakamura. This is a match. The bloodline comes through the crowd, but the faces, Cody and Seth, interrupt them and they brawl with them. Cody takes out Solo, and Seth and Jimmy are fighting. But while Seth gets the better of Jimmy, Drew McIntyre comes out and he takes out Seth. He delivers the what's he call his version of the paradigm shift? His DDT.
I have no idea. I don't pay attention that well.
Okay. All right. So Charlotte won the Royal Rumble, not money. That's right, Royal Rumble. I'm sorry. And she challenged Rhea for the NXT title instead, which was weird. Anyway, so as that happens and Drew gets taken out, you would think Nakamura would get the best of Jay, but he doesn't. I thought maybe we're going to get 2 heels win that aren't, don't have any role at WrestleMania, but no. Jay hits a spear, his cousin's move, and he pins Nakamura basically pretty easily. I look at the clock, it's 10:53, and I'm like, there is way too much time left here. So it cuts the back, and you see Cody fighting off the bloodline. He basically fights Solo out one of the exit doors, and the door closes behind him. So I guess the inference is that Solo is not locked out. He's beating up Jey Uso by himself. But then The Rock comes out of nowhere. We thought he left. He's not. He's beating the hell out of Cody. He's throwing garbage cans at him. He's smack talking him. He beats him up outside. It opens up to Cody's sponsor, the Wheatley American Vodka, which is the back of Cody's American Nightmare WWE tailored busts. Custom. So that was convenient product placement. It's raining, so the visuals are great. The Rock is beating him up. He's throwing him into the. I thought he was going to throw him over like the ramp from the parking garage down to the down ramp, but no, he's bouncing him into the truck. He's kicking him. He kicks him once. It looks like it's the nuts, but Cody is selling the hamstring. He bloodies him up. He's beating him up in the rain. He pulls out. He keeps saying, what do you think was going to happen? How do you like this? Mama Rhodes, you like what you see, Mama Rhodes? He's beating him up in front of the John Cena Stone Cold Steve Austin side of WWE equipment truck. I don't think that's a coincidence. I think it's a foreshadowing about the Avengers of wrestling, coming down.
What did you say about what?
Well, in the background, when he's beating up, there's one of the equipment trucks, one of the trucks that they bring with all their stuff from city to city, and on the side they have wrestlers. And this particular one had John Cena and Stone Cold Steve Austin on it. So I think that's foreshadowing that the Avengers of faces for the last generations are going to be involved in WrestleMania in this Rock Cody story. That's just, maybe it's me wish casting, but I don't think there were any. I think those were Easter eggs. And he's beating Cody in front of them. Cody gets bloodied up. The Rock takes off, brings out a weight belt, a white weight belt, and it says Mama Rhodes on it. He says, "The Rock is a man of his word. I told you I was going to put blood, your son's blood on this belt and your tears." And he wipes Cody's blood on it. How do you like that, Mama Rhodes? I guess the tears are coming next. And that's where it goes off the air. And I thought the ending was hot.
So I first have to start with, I think the Nakamura and Jey Uso match was just garbage. I think they've turned Nakamura into something that he's definitely not. I really feel like Nakamura should. I feel like he should leave and go back to Japan, because I honestly, at this point, I think they made a mockery out of him. He used to be huge. Nakamura used to be one of the biggest superstars in Japan, and I just don't think he's respected anymore.
Well, especially on that. He's enhancement talent. He's making $2 million a year. He's happy as a clam. New Japan can't afford its own stars, so I don't know why any would tell him to go to Japan.
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying. All right, here's the thing. I see what you're saying. He makes $2 million. Who gives a shit? He's getting beat up, whatever the fact is. But at some point, don't you think these guys like look back at their past and go, I'm what am I doing here? Like, I'm making $2 million, but what am I actually? Where am I actually going with my character creative? You're not. With that being said, I just think for him to lose so quickly to Jey Uso with so much time left on the clock, to me was just I don't know. It was just something that I wish that they would have put more effort and time into the match. And then with the whole Rock, promo, I think that was the best part of the whole night. We thought the Rock left the building. We thought we were done seeing him. Now they break the, Cody Rhodes getting his ass beat with everybody. I think that was a great way to end Raw. And I feel like there is a, with a week left, we have the go home show of Raw coming up next Monday, which is also the premiere of the new Bray Wyatt documentary, which is getting really good talks about, and even the actual promo for it is fantastic. Which I'm very honestly, I'm going to say I'm very surprised that they're not waiting until after Mania to show this, knowing this is what they do. They wait for after Mania to show actual great material like this. So it's just surprising to me that they're going to release this before Mania.
I think it's all a lead up to WrestleMania week, and I absolutely think that Bray Wyatt is going to be announced as an inductee into the Hall of Fame.
When's that going to happen?
Probably right as that show goes off the air, or the next business day. Jeff, you pointed out that there was interference, that Shinsuke didn't look clean, but the interference was against Jay. So I think it actually makes Shinsuke look. Listen, Shinsuke is enhancement talent. Maybe at some point they'll give him a minor title or a tag team title, but he's enhancement talent. That's his role there. He's in his 40s. He's retiring. Leave him alone. Don't fulfill your New Japan or your NXT dreams here. The main roster is where your New Japan and NXT dreams go to die, and you create new dreams. And Nakamura's was to raise his family in America and surf and make a shitload of money. And he's 3 for 3. As far as Raw is concerned, you indicated earlier that you didn't like it. It's getting late. We've gone from having 41 people watching to only 7, so I think we're losing people's steam. So, what's your grade for Raw this week?
I'll give it a C.
All right. I'm going to give it you know what? I'm going to give it A minus.
Well, an A?
Yeah, A minus.
What are you smoking?
Yep. I think it did its job. It built the stories for WrestleMania. I think the ending, I think the intro promo, I think CM Punk, I thought Drew McIntyre, I think The Rock at the beginning and The Rock at the end, it was just that good. The wrestling doesn't matter. I don't care about the wrestling.
I mean, it is, you know, this is what they do. They wrestle. It's not all about promo.
Well, like a musical on Broadway, there's acting that gets you to the songs, and the songs are the songs, but the acting is the stories. And
There's
that's
too
what makes
much acting is what I'm trying to tell you.
Well, I'm saying I prefer the acting to the dancing. Most of the time. The big dancing, that's what the PLEs are for. In any event, I thought Raw did exactly what it was supposed to do. There were a few surprises. And
what surprises did Raw have?
The Rock twice.
And we knew The Rock was going to be there, so was it really a surprise?
He's announced for next week's Raw. He was not announced for this week's Raw. He hasn't been showing up on Raws. They've been announcing The Rock.
He said on SmackDown he's going to be on Raw.
I don't think he said that on SmackDown.
Oh, I'm going to find the clip and play it on Wednesday.
Yeah, I think he said he's going to be on the next Raw. That's been announced. This was a surprise. Nobody knew that he was going to be there.
I mean, really, is it really a surprise when almost every promo he talks about The Rock?
Yes.
I mean, you know, The Rock is somewhat, some way going to show up somewhere.
No, I think that usually they announce The Rock is going to be there as a ratings grab. So anyway, listen, this is not something that I think anyone is interested in hearing, and I'm not interested in talking about. So we disagree on the quality of the show tonight. I think it's did its job. You thought it was stinky. So I just want to remind everyone, hey, you get your own votes, and hopefully you enjoy the disagreement. But make sure to catch all of the UPR shows. The NXT review show is right here Tuesday nights after NXT goes off the air. You already know about the Dynamite review show, and Vinny has laid down the gauntlet for the executive consultant to accept or not or offer counter terms. Thursday nights, it's usually predictions, or shorts. There's always stuff on UPR Entertainment, by the way. They review movies, TV shows. I believe they're reviewing X-Men 97 currently. I think there's going to be a TNA review show coming up soon. I'm not really sure what's going on with that. And then, of course, we've mentioned Saturdays. You've got the SmackDown review show. So you can catch all of the fun right here on UPR. And you can catch me Sundays on UPR Sports to watch the Lip Men on the UFL. We've done 3 shows for the preseason, and after the games are over, it'll be me and my son Jake talking about the UFL on Popular Review Sports. So go over there and hit a subscribe and a like and notifications so you can check that out, because we don't know when the games are going to end and if there's a post-game show, because we don't want to compete with it. But if there's no post-game show, we'll probably go on 15 minutes after the games end. So check that out and give us some support and give us some love, because we're learning the new Spring Football League the same time you are. With that said, I got nothing else. Well, yeah, you can check out Garden of Doom. You can check out Hammerlock Hangover. Tomorrow night, I'm going to be on YouTube on Marvin the Movie Monsters Tooneytown Wrestling Show. It's going to be a revolving roundtable, and I'll be one of the typical panelists on it. So if you don't know who Marvin the Movie Monster is, just go to Tooneytown Wrestling on YouTube. Check out some of the stuff. It's hysterical. And you're going to have some of your favorite internet accounts like AEW Neckbeards, AEW Disciplinary Committee, WWF Counselor. So a whole bunch of good fellows. The Death of AEW, the author of that book. So, a whole bunch of a fine round table of wonderful folks. Vinny,
The Death of AEW?
Yeah, well, his account is AE Awful Wrestling, but it's the Death of AEW. He's writing like the Brian Alvarez book, The Death of WCW. He's writing The Death of AEW, except in real time.
The only thing I need to plug is in 1 week, make sure you check me out at Friendly Confines if you're in the local Orlando area. On April 6th and 7th, I will be hosting a WrestleMania watch party at Friendly Confines Lake Mary. Come and join me. The show starts at 7. Come and join us at 6. I'll be giving away copies for the winner of two 2K24 tournaments, a copy of WWE 2K24 I will be also giving away wrestling t-shirts, all kinds of prizes. Come check us out. For more information, go to Friendly Confines on Facebook.
Beautiful. All right, everyone. If there's nothing else, I just would encourage you to make sure you stay evil, my friends.
See you guys.